So it was fun. So burgers, hot dogs, the whole thing. But anyway, welcome to our sanctuary, and we'd like to start this service with a song called "This Is the Day" that we do every Sunday. And if you please rise and join with us to bring up the spirit, we definitely appreciate you.
This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Sing that with me. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, a day to be seized, a day I can feel my spirit set free. Yes, this is the day. It's time to fly higher and higher up in the sky. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day all my dreams come true. Feel the Spirit working His way through. Yes, this is the day. It's time to fly higher and higher up in the sky. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Woo!
Good morning. Welcome to West Valley Center for Spiritual Living, and welcome to all of those who are watching online. Thank you so much. We are so glad that you will be with us this morning, and I want to give a special thanks to, I always forget, I want to give a special thank you to the Bradfords for coordinating our picnic yesterday, and for John back there, and the Crawfords, and everybody who helped out. And for Betty Ann, she supplied the most amazing games yesterday. So she is not here today. I don't see her, but
Everybody's not here today.
I know. I think everybody is still home drinking water. So before we get started with our announcements, we are going to have a word from our sponsor, and brought to you by Gourmets for God.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You know, most people watch this show week after week, I guess because of the drama, the possibility of seeing someone big or win the big spots. But I bet you've said to yourself right there in your seat, I know that answer. I should have that spot. Well, here's your chance. Bidding is open after service in Papke Hall now through October 20th. It's time to pick up that pen, place that bid, and then maybe you'll get a chance to sit in on a great event like Père Teilhard de Chardin here from Graham, Washington. Hi, Père.
Hi,
Père, are you ready to play the game?
I am. Let's do it.
All right, you've got 2 lifelines left. You've asked the audience, but you have your 50-50 and your phone a friend still. You've already won $250,000, and we're going for $500,000. We're all set. Let's play. Out of 15 amazing events this year, which of these is the name of an actual event? Farmhouse Fiesta, Cards and Carbs, Sound Bath Brunch, or Darned Dinner?
I want to use my 50-50, please.
Computer, take away 2 of the answers. Sound Bath Brunch, Darned Dinner.
It's just a guess. I haven't really been over there to check things out, but I'm going to go with the Sound Bath Brunch.
All right, 50% chance of getting this right with $500,000 on the line. Is that your final answer, Pear?
Final answer.
That's correct. $500,000 is yours. Now for the $1 million question. What happens if your bid on an event is one of the highest bids? Win a spot, win the money, win a friend, or win a date?
I'm not really sure. I think I'm going to have to phone a friend. I'd like to call Apple.
Does Apple know about bidding?
Sorry. I think so. She's my Granny Smith. She knows everything.
All right, AT&T, get me Apple on the line.
Hello.
Apple, this is Julie Philbin here calling from New York City. How are you?
A bit sour today, but that's okay.
That's
Go
great.
ahead.
That's great. I have Pear here, and she needs a little help. She's going for $1 million. I'm going to ask you a question and 4 answers. One of them is the right answer, okay?
Go ahead.
All right, Pear, go ahead.
Hi, Apple. What happens if your bid on an event is one of the highest bids? A, win a spot. B, win the money. 3, win a friend. And 4, win a date.
I think it's win a spot.
Are you sure?
I can feel it in my core.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to go with Apple and say A, win a spot. Final answer.
And she got it. Pear, you won $1 million. Now you're certain to win all of the spots you want. Here you go. Now get out there and bid your little heart away. I'm Julie Philbin. See you next week with 10 new contestants and maybe another $1 million bidder. Woo!
Oh my gosh, that was fabulous. Thank you so much. And remember, after service, go and place your bid. So today, the practitioner serving us today is Reverend Susan right here. We will have call to prayer after service up in front if you are if you would like to have a prayer. You can also fill out a prayer request at the altar in the back, and there's also a box in Home's Base. And you can also, if you'd like to post a prayer request or I forgot what it's called, a demonstration. You can put it on the wall up there too. So we'd like to begin each Sunday by affirming our vision statement. There we go. So you'll find it on the screen behind me, so let's say it out loud. We are a loving, joy-filled community, honoring the many paths to God as we learn and live the Experience of Mind principles. And so it is. So we have many activities going on. I'm only going to list a few. You can find them in the Sunday bulletin on the table by the front desk. You can also find them online and in our newsletter. And if you are not receiving our newsletter, please fill out a newsletter request in the bookstore, and we'll put you on the list. So first of all, we're continuing Spot On with Reverend Karen on Thursdays at 1:30. On Saturday, October 26th from 10 to 5, we're doing the West Valley Wellness Expo again. So if you're interested in wellness and you'd like to explore some different strategies for wellness, please join us here on Saturday, October 26th. Also remember that Sunday, October 27th, is Dress Up Sunday. So wear your spookiest, craziest, funniest, wildest, scariest costume. And it's always a lot of fun to see what people are dressed up as. The Crawfords are hosting a Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving Day. So if you are interested in being part of a Thanksgiving Day celebration, there's going to be TV, football, music, games, and the doors open at noon. But if you are interested in attending, please sign up with Kathy Rose, because they need to know how many people are going to be here. And then one last thing, this is a little in advance. In December, on December 1st, on Sunday after service, I'm going to be doing a celebration or a ceremony of remembrance for all of those family members or even pets that have passed. And if you're interested in being part of that video, please fill out the information of your loved one and also a picture, because I'm going to be putting together a video that I'm going to be showing at that service. So I think that is it. And take it away, Bradfords.
So just take a deep breath and relax as we move within.
I will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the Lord. Wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know.
I will make a quiet place within my mind, and I will wait upon the Lord. Wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know.
quiet place within my life,
and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place.
As I come together right here and now with each and every one of you, I know that God is my source. I go within and I tap into that inner energy that flows through every fiber of each of our beings. That divine love that blesses and multiplies all that I am. I know that God, as my source, is moving with me and through me at all times. When I open up my heart and my mind, I hear God operating right there, in, through, and as my being. I know that I am one, and each of us are one with that divine presence. We go within, and we tap that still small voice to move us through this energy field that we call life. As we vibrate through our lives, we raise our consciousness and our oneness with God, and all things grow. It is that soil, that nutrients within us that changes our life experiences. It's our thoughts and our words that we choose carefully to be that divine expression of love at all times. And so I'm grateful right here and now for my teaching, my community, my source, as we bring our time together with love and openness. So I say thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, higher power. I release this thought and idea into the universal law, watching it unfold for each and every one of us right here and now. And together we say, and so it is. Well, good morning. My name is Reverend Susan, and I am your platform practitioner for the day. So in this book called Untethered Soul, I will be reading from Transcending the Tendency to Close. The foundation of spiritual growth and personal awakening are very much strengthened by the findings of Western science. Science has shown us how an underlying field of energy forms into atoms, which then binds together into molecules and ultimately manifests into the entire physical universe. The same is true inside of us. All that goes on inside also has its foundation in an underlying energy field. It is the movements in this field that create our mental and emotional patterns, as well as our inner drives, urges, and instinctive reactions. Regardless of what you call this inner force field, chi, Shakti, or spirit, it is always underlining energy that flows in a particular pattern through your inner being. Please take this service today and hear what is being shared. This is very important if you want to change your life. Thank you.
Okay, so that was wonderful and really calm. But this next song is not just Just to let you know, you might want to get ready. Yeah, that little Eddie Watkins tune that, whew. So, something goes like this.
Anything is possible when you believe.
Anything is possible when you believe.
You can make a mountain move when you believe.
You can make a mountain move when you believe in yourself,
When you believe.
in yourself,
When you believe.
in yourself,
When you believe.
in yourself.
When you believe. Oh yeah.
You can make a miracle when you believe.
You can make a miracle when you believe. Everything you want, you got when you believe.
Everything you want, you got when you believe
You want it, you got it.
in yourself,
When you believe.
in yourself,
You believe.
in yourself.
When you believe. Well, I believe in me, and I believe in you.
Since we believe in each other,
There ain't nothing that we can do.
we can make a miracle.
Make a miracle. We can make a miracle. Make a miracle.
We can make a miracle.
Make a miracle.
We can make a miracle.
Good. All right. Thanks for bringing the energy back up. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. That was fabulous. Good morning. Well, if there's a few more people now than there was earlier. Most of us are recuperating from the picnic because it was HOT. Hotter than burgers on a grill. And you know, we got some talking to do about that fabulous picnic. First of all, I've never been to a picnic here where it wasn't hot. No matter what time of year it seems like we had it, it always seems like it's been hot. But before you sit down, Mr. Rod, I think I need you right up here. We've had a lot of picnics. We've all been to a few of them. But this man was in charge of everything, and he never did that before. And he just showed up. I'm sure, Kathy, you should probably be standing up here too. But we're just going to honor him because he loves being the... But by the way, was this man in charge yesterday or what? And when Betty Ann recuperates, whew, it was hot there yesterday. I know I went home and drank a whole lot of water.
Shout out for Betty Ann. Thank you, Betty Ann. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I have a little something for you, Betty Ann, if you're listening at home. So I bet it looks like a lot of our family is listening from home. I do have really good news. Rod created a game that I never would have played. So we did that, throw the beanbag and hope it lands in the hole on the board things.
Well, I didn't create it, but yeah, it was fun.
And so what he did was brilliant. At the beginning of the picnic, we all wrote our names down, and then he paired us with a partner. And, I believe the winner is here. Stand up, Miss Gloria. Who was your partner? Kathy! Stand up, Kathy. The number one winners of the beanbag dropping in a hole championship.
It is called cornhole. Official.
I will not say that. You can't make me. So they took first place. Who took second place? Do you remember?
Hank and Cheyenne.
And second place winner in the back there. And third place, Mr. Kruger. Stand up. My partner was brilliantly selected by the gods to be John Kruger. I just lucked out. So, yeah. We got medals. We took third place. We did good, John. Thank you. You're a good partner. He did complain I started treating him like a husband toward the end. We were all a little grumpy in the heat. No, that's not it. So I brought a really lovely gift for Betty Ann, which we will give to her later. But I then thought, what could I give to Rod that would have some meaning? And I think that we had a love fest yesterday. It was hot, and we had a really good turnout. And it's reflected here. They're all home. But I looked for something that would be meaningful to give you as a thank you gift, because I didn't think you wanted a coffee mug. They're kind of flowery and girl-like. So I found in my treasure box an unused button from the 25th annual Love Ride. That's a Harley-Davidson motorcycle thing. And the 25 years was quite a while ago, but I found an unopened, and it's a gift to you because my husband would want you to have this, and I have the other one because I was on the ride too. And it's the Love Ride, and you gave us a Love Fest yesterday, so I want you to have that.
Thank you, everybody.
We love you, Rod. Thank you for doing it. And I promise if we do have future, we don't do it every year, but if we do have future picnics, I would like Rod to do it again. It was really just a lot of fun. It included did he say no behind my back? Okay. I gave you a gift, so, I was kind of hoping that would butter the bread for future things. Anyhow, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. Don't you love seeing how Reverend Clyde can go on vacation and we get along just fine? We figure out we fill in all the parts because that man does a lot of stuff for us. So he'll be back next week. We're expecting him to return from his wonderful vacation. Meanwhile, I am talking this morning about something that is really relevant and important to every single one of us. And that has to do with the power within. It's the prayer. Oh my God, beautiful job. Reverend Susan stepped in at the last minute and just belted it all out in just the perfect way that complements the message that I prepared to deliver to you this morning. So I'm going to start with a joke. And by the way, you've all heard this. I'm pretty sure you've all heard this story before. You can even help me with the punchline when I get there if you want to. But it's about a wise Zen master who visits New York City. And he's never been to New York City before, and he wants to do it. He wants to do everything just the right way if you're visiting New York City for the first time. And so he decides to go out on the streets and find a hot dog vendor, and he orders a hot dog, and he says to the vendor, make me one with everything. He just wants every morsel and bite of how delicious a hot dog with everything on it can be. And so the vendor prepares the hot dog, and he hands it over to the Zen master, and the Zen master passes him a $20 bill, and the vendor opens his little cash box and drops the $20 bill in it and then closes the box. And the Zen master holds out his other hand and says, "Oh, but I need my change." And then the vendor says, "Ah, but change must come from within." Oh, good. Oh, good. Not everybody saw that coming, or maybe you were just polite. It's good to start with a little laughter, especially after a fun day like we had yesterday. We have a little mischief in us, I think, still. But the truth is that change happens within, because it's a power within that we tap into that helps us to create change in our thinking and in our lives. It's inside work that we dedicate ourselves to on the spiritual path. And so the message this morning is just a refresher course. There's nothing really new to be said about any of this. But the interesting part is that we do tend to sort of forget the simple truths of life. And that's why we revisit them. That's why we get together on Sundays, and why we offer classes, and we even enjoy each other's company on Saturdays sometimes in the way that we did as a community yesterday. The power within is the infinite intelligence of all the universe, and it's that power which created all of life, and it's also that continuing light, that divine illumination that is the brilliance that sustains all of life as well. And so I was thinking about, it as a creative intelligence in the universe has created us. And so therefore there's an intimacy in our relationship with Spirit, with the Creator. And in that way, Spirit is obligated to continue sustaining life, to keep order in this universe in a very natural way. So there has to be, we can see evidence of it in nature, there has to be this divine order that is constantly organizing and reorganizing after a storm passes through life itself. The Creator, therefore, is intimately involved in our personal lives. It's the very wisdom in our bodies that keeps the breath of life flowing so that we can all meet the needs and activities of our daily living. I found a wonderful quote from Eric Butterworth. You know what I like about Butterworth? Butterworth takes everything we teach, and he takes all the intellectual stuff out of it, and he zaps you with something really simple and easy to understand. What a great human he was. Would have been a treat to meet him. And Butterworth worded it this way: within every person, there is a divine reservoir of inexhaustible wisdom, love, and power. This is such a great spiritual truth, and it's a spiritual truth that is taught in almost every spiritual tradition. And yet, the interesting thing is that we as students of spiritual teachings, we don't seem to be able to keep aware of it, sort of to stay awake to that presence of God, that presence of wisdom, that presence of power. We just get a little sidetracked in our daily routines. So I think it's a really good question. Why would such a brilliant creator that created all of life make us this way? Why would a loving creator give us a truth that we can't seem to remember all the time? Why would a loving creator have this truth within each individual, and yet it's our private, personal, quiet job or noisy job to like find it, like it's hidden in here, And the spiritual path is our uncovering it. But it's like when you read what the great sages wrote, they would say it's like there's this divine truth waiting to be uncovered. Well, that's not all that funny. There's something I miss in trying to understand that until I was typing that all out and really sitting at my computer and pondering. That is a really good question. Why does it need to be hidden? And of course, you can have intellectual responses to that. But I remembered how fun it used to be when I had little kids at home to hide Easter eggs. Right? I remember how fun it was to play hide and seek. And it didn't seem to matter whether you were hiding or you were seeking. There's something about it that is just this great fun. You know, this would be more fun if Reverend Clyde was here. But do you know that Reverend Clyde, you can tease him about it later because he talks about it. He's probably said it from the platform before. He hides eggs every Easter, and Mark has to find them. Isn't that great? A full-grown man. They have no children. But Clyde hides the eggs, and he makes Mark hunt for them, and Mark loves it. It's a perfect match. Or how about those times where, did you ever do this? We used to love this in my family, with big family, lots of playful games. We would have, if it was somebody's birthday, sometimes we would make them go on a treasure hunt. And you give them a clue, and then they find the clue that tells them where the next clue is until they finally go through the house or the yard or whatever and find the gift. So there is something about the way we take pleasure in. If I have hidden the Easter eggs, I take pleasure in watching the zeal and the joy of the kids finding them. Maybe God gets pleasure out of us hunting for these spiritual truths. So then that made me think, do you think that God gets a kick out of it when we're hunting for our car keys? So I had a little bit of mischief in my mind because we played mischief games yesterday. Right? So is that where we get our sense of humor from? Is it a divine innate gift? But what I really want to say, my response to that is that it just seems to me in this overwhelming way when I start looking at the facts like that, is that we are created with an urge to seek. Seek, and ye shall find. Well, I found me a really good quote by an old metaphysician from the 1800s named Orison Marden. And Orison Marden was an author and philosopher, a spiritual contributor to New Thought. He lived about the same time as Emma Curtis Hopkins, and Emma Curtis Hopkins, the great Christian mystic and the mother, sometimes considered the mother of New Thought. Emma lived a generation before Holmes. They knew each other. Dr. Holmes actually studied under Emma, as did many New Thought founders of churches. And Orison Marden lived in that same time period before Holmes then, and about in the same time as Emma. And they all seem to come out of those New England states that were really open. You know, all the transcendentalists got us sort of open-minded to look at spirituality from different perspectives. Orison Marden published a magazine called Success Magazine. And so mail order was big in the 1800s. You know, education would come through. People would do mail order courses. It was very common. Well, now we sort of relate to that now, don't we? We do courses on Zoom and online and all kinds of ways that we didn't used to do. But here's what Orison Marden said, and it's such exquisite verbiage. Deep within every person dwells slumbering powers. Deep within every person dwells slumbering powers. Powers that would astonish us. Forces that would revolutionize life if aroused and put into action. Ooh, those are good words. Life could use a little revolutionizing, a little less revolution as in war and disagreements, but revolutionizing in terms of revolving around love. Revolving or allowing our lives to move in that revolving way that we value human connection. Revolving in such a way that we restore a sense of belief in the power of good, in that power within that we're talking about today. So those powers that lie slumbering within, that's the essence of the divinity within each and every one of us. That's where we get to that point where we can say, I live and move and have my being in spirit itself. We understand that it is God that sustains this universe, and therefore it is God, it is Spirit. I love to think of it as the Holy Spirit that sustains all of life. Dr. Holmes would say that it is a dynamic quality of an invisible essence, and I would say, yeah, it's the God stuff. It's the way we get reminded to notice the miraculous nature of life, and it stirs something at the center of us because that's the awakening of the power within us. It's the way we come back to that source and remember that there is a power that's greater than we are. The most common way that we give up that power or turn our back on it is by the erroneous belief that we just don't have any power. Anytime that we feel that something has been done to us, when we take that posture of feeling like a victim, then those are the times we have given away our power. And what we're here to remember this morning is that that's a choice. That's a choice. We can remember to return to love, to revolve back to that place of love again, and stand in that place where we recognize the power and the presence of God. The wisdom teachings of every faith, almost every faith, have a similar theme. There's a power in this universe. It's a power for good, and we can use it. So let me put this in a real simple, basic sort of illustration. Let's say you wake up in the morning and you jump into your regular morning routine. My routine is that I make a cup of coffee and then I go sit in my meditation chair and I read until I'm ready to meditate and pray. It's how I start every day. And I have for years. I notice, though, not everybody has that same routine. When my husband was still living and when my father lived in our home with us, they had very different routines. My husband would get up and get ready to go out the door to go to work, right? He would do all his things in a neat little package and zoom out the door. My father would wake up and take care of his morning needs, but he would go straight to the kitchen and make a bowl of oatmeal in the microwave. He didn't do anything till he ate, sort of the way I am with my coffee. But that was his morning routine. Now, I notice in my routine, I don't like to eat first thing. I like to have my spiritual practice. And at some point, I will notice that I'm getting hungry because our bodies are so beautifully made. We have these built-in reminders. So let's say I'm just going to make this all up. This is not really what I would eat. Actually, when I eat in the morning, I really prefer leftovers, especially if I made something good the night before. But here's a generalized overview of, let's pretend that I'm at that place where I'm going, I'm hungry. It's time to get up and feed my body. I have fed my mind. I have fed my soul. Now I'm going to feed my body. And I make a decision that I want toast, and I'm going to put some apricot preserves on my toast, and I want a piece of fruit and a cup of coffee. My mind is just sorting that out, but has set an intention. My mind, my thinking, has now planted a seed of possibility, and without even giving it a lot of effort, my physical body starts responding. Before you know it, I'm pulling out the bread, and I'm going to the refrigerator while I'm still formulating a plan. I'm getting the apricot preserves out of the refrigerator, and then I go over by the produce bowl and I break a banana off the bunch of bananas, and I take it over and I start arranging my meal. I've got the coffee brewing. My body responds in this physical way. There are actions that respond to the way that I'm thinking. So your mind goes through steps, and then we start multitasking without even knowing we're multitasking, sort of like driving. You're doing all kinds of things at the same time, right? But we move into action. But you know what we almost never think about? While we're getting ready to put the bread in the toaster and looking for what we're going to spread the jam with, you know what we almost never think about, at least for me, this is true. There were a lot of people involved in getting that banana on my kitchen counter in my produce bowl. I don't have to bake the bread. I don't even think about it. If I have a loaf of bread in my kitchen, I don't even think about not having to bake a loaf of bread. My grandmas all baked bread. If they had bread, they baked it. I didn't have to go harvest the bananas off a banana tree. Thanks, Julie. Good save. I didn't have to pick the coffee beans and then lay them out to dry and process them. I don't think about all the work that went into all of that, even though it's a simple little way to break the fast from the not eating overnight. I didn't have to have anything to do with the farmer that grew the wheat and then had to harvest the wheat, and then had to get that harvest to the bread making factory or whatever he would do with it. The wheat whatever. Moving on quickly. And I give almost no thought at all to all the people that deliver goods to the grocery stores and all the workers in the grocery stores that stock the shelves. I give almost no thought at all to those things until there's a labor strike. Until somebody then says on the 5 o'clock news, oh, toilet paper. And now we're all moving again. I did hear it resolved. I did hear don't run out and buy anything, because there's that whole supply and demand, that chain of supply that everything gets interfered with when we hoard. And I know even some of my family members that I talk to every day on a little video chat we do, even some of my family members back in the cold states, oh, aren't they happy right now compared to us? All my family back there said, well, we're not hoarding. We're just going to go make sure we have some, because I think they got hit a little harder on the east side of the country than we did. At any rate, we don't think of those things. We don't think of how much energy human beings have put into this process of us just having bread and jam and coffee and bananas in our kitchen. countless individuals, and here's the part that really excites me. Here's the part that I want you to really think of today. In this universal thread of all of it, before the bread was baked, before the fruit was picked, before the beans were prepared for coffee, before all of that, there were multiple individuals who had to have a plan. Somebody thought it all into being. It's the creative process. The creative process starts with planting a seed. And in this case, we're talking about seed thoughts. The way that our life gets to be the way it is, which is really good news. Because if there's something going on in your life that you don't like, you can dig it out, get rid of it, and plant a new seed of possibility. We don't think about how much commitment goes into the simple things that we take for granted. And in the same way, I believe, and here's the connection, here's the spiritual caveat here, the take home on how we can apply it in our own lives. In that very same way, we get complacent about recognizing the divine order in the universe. It's so easy to take that all for granted. You know, for instance, it doesn't cross my mind at night when I'm closing my eyes in slumber. It does not cross my mind if I should worry if the sun's going to rise tomorrow. You know, might cross my mind whether I'm going to rise tomorrow, but I'm not so worried about the sun. I'm not worried about the North Star staying where it needs to be so people can find their way in the dark of night, and the sailors can sail ships if their instruments don't work well. I don't worry that all the life in my backyard needs my help. I just take it for granted that when I wake up every morning, the lizards and the birds and all the other little critters are going to be doing exactly what they need to be doing. However, if I'm making toast in my kitchen and my toaster, I put the bread in and I turn the toaster on and I don't hear that little clicking noise, I notice that, right? When something doesn't go right, then we notice it. And so I'm going to troubleshoot. If the toaster doesn't work, I'm either going to call Rod and go, oh my God, Rod, my toaster doesn't work, Rod. Remember that time I gave you that special gift? We're going to troubleshoot. And if we're good, even if we're mediocre at troubleshooting, hopefully one of the first things we do is check to see if the toaster's plugged into the wall. Because the toaster needs electricity in order to toast my bread or your bread. So the question is it plugged into its power source? And wouldn't it be lovely if we had some kind of a way we recognized when we thought we turned ourselves on to do a task and we could notice there's no ticking? I mean, it would be even better if we had a little alarm that said, whoa, you're not plugged in, girl. You know, wouldn't it be nice if we had a little, well, not like a fire, what do you call it? Your fire alarm. We don't want it like that loud. You know, but wouldn't it be nice if we just had some kind of a little, like the cars. You know, some of you have cars that if you veer a little bit out of the lane, the car will go politely beep 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 beep. All I can hear is stupid. You've crossed the line. Get back. I don't have the beeper, you can tell. But that's it always feels funny to me when I'm with somebody else and their car starts talking and they then are talking back to it. I know, I got this. Leave me alone. But wouldn't it be nice if we started getting a little out of line, out of alignment, a little too distant from our divine connection, from that powerful source of our power, our good, the light and the love that we need to get us through every day. Wouldn't it be great if we had some kind of a signal? Or maybe even a reboot button. I'd like a reboot button. I would really like a reboot button. I don't always think to use it. That's where I have to call Rod, and he reminds me. Rod and my husband had the same background professionally, so he's talks like Hugh, and I can hear it. Oh yeah, there's got to be. How do you say it, Rod? Just turn off your strip thing. The power strip. Turn off the power strip. Turn it back on again. And I kept saying to him, there's no power strip back there. And he kept saying to me, no, there has to be. I found it. It was kind of embarrassing, but I found it. So what if we did have a reboot button and we never realized it? Think about your belly button. Think about your belly button. Right? Everybody's got a belly button, or you used to have a belly button. Maybe you had a little surgical something, or maybe you haven't seen it in years. But we all understand that. There's something about aging that's interesting. Just close your ears, young people. Don't worry about it. You will always have it. It will always be there. And so I kept thinking, it's like, wouldn't it be lovely if we just could put our hand on our belly, right over your belly button, right over your navel, and to remember that, that's there because you were once connected by a cord to a source of life that kept you warm and safe and not hungry. You got all the oxygen you needed, all of that. And then that reminded me when I was thinking, yeah, that's a great idea. We do have a button. We got a reboot button. And then I remembered when I got the call to ministry in the early 2000s. Some of you have heard this story before. I didn't know how I was going to meet all those. This is a brand new minister here. In the beginning, there are those ways that you just aren't sure how you're going to meet all the requirements, all the class attendance, all the financial investment we are required to put into our training. But once I recognized it was a call that was coming from a source greater than me, I had this sense of something right at my solar plexus, as though there was a cord coming out of me, and that God was on the other side, holding that cord, pulling it. I gotcha. It's okay. I gotcha. And I described that as a divine tautness. These are the things we're talking about this morning, that there is that way that we are always connected, that there is that image of a cord that is life-sustaining, that is always connecting you to your Creator, to the infinite wisdom of all the universe. And it's always there. But sometimes we got to reboot ourselves to recognize it again. See, when life gets messy, it's easy to feel like someone has taken away our good, that someone or something has happened and that our good has been removed from our reach. And I want to say to you that when you catch yourself feeling that way, know that that is an erroneous belief. You are not powerless. We feel that way sometimes, but we are not powerless. And so in the same way that we wake up in the morning and we feel a sense of hunger and it's time to feed ourselves, we set an intention to satisfy our hunger, and that hunger itself is a God-given gift. And so in the very same way, we have a God-given gift, an urge to seek and to choose, to find that power and connect with it. It is a power that is greater than we are. I don't have to find the strength in me. I have to remember that there's a power greater than me that I can connect to. that is the source of my good. And so it's not just about preparing a meal or feeding ourselves or deciding what to wear or what we're going to do. It is a constant invitation for us to be choosing all the time. Powerlessness is nothing more than a state of mind. And what do we know? Minds can be changed. When we change our minds, we empower our lives. Here's something fabulous that I stumbled on this week. It's a quotation from Dr. Reverend Edward Viljoen, who during the lockdown period, when we were all staying at home and washing our hands and worried about COVID, Dr. Edward was the CSL leader. And we were in really good, capable hands. He is one of my heroes in our teaching. And this quotation comes from a Science of Mind magazine article he wrote during lockdown. Here's what he said. You have the power within you to become passionate about whatever you pay close attention to. No matter how you and I choose to use the infinite storehouse of power within us, we just pay attention. And notice then how that power comes to life when we give loving attention to it. Power comes to life whenever we give our loving attention to anything. So notice how that power comes to life in those moments. When we, and this is the key line, I love this part, when we become interested in something, life responds to us. Life responds by igniting passion, excitement, and enthusiasm within us. You can feel it at your core. Now, that tells me I want to be sure I find things to be interested in life. Because when I'm interested in anything, then life's going to respond and I'm going to feel that inside of me. That's when I get filled with enthusiasm, and then when you feel and recognize and name enthusiasm, you can know for certain that God is working within you. And you know why I say that with such conviction? Because the word enthusiasm has a Greek root. It comes from entheos, which literally translates to God-filled. When you are enthusiastic, you are God-filled, and you know it. In this human way, then, we can say that anytime we have that sense of aliveness, that vitality, you realize those are the energies in our being that know how to instinctively heal what ails us without limit. So we want to be filled with that awareness of the presence of God. Something is emanating from within us, the creative source of all of life that is in us. It's the breath. It's the way we live and move and have our being in. And so I'm going to close this morning with a beautiful old favorite poem from the mystic poet Kabir. Kabir was alive in the 15th century. And whenever I read this poem, I imagine that it's God speaking to me. So I invite you to do that. Imagine these words are coming from the infinite to your ears. Are you looking for me? I am in the next seat. My shoulder is against yours. You will not find me in the stupas, you will not find me in the shrine rooms, not in synagogues and not in cathedrals, not in masses nor kirtans. not in legs winding around your own neck, nor in eating nothing but vegetables. When you really look for me, you will see me instantly. You will find me in the tiniest house of time. Kabir says, student, tell me what God is. God is the breath inside the breath. Right there, right where you are, whether you're here in this sanctuary or sitting at home, right where you are is all the power, all the life, all the love, all the joy. Seek these things. Seek these things. Notice that urge to seek, and you shall find. Never forget that life responds to us by igniting something wonderful inside of us. Enthusiasm, power, and love. And that's what I wanted to say today. So just get comfortable where you're seated. For we have seeded some great possibilities this morning. So we take some time to just let all the words drift away. Conscious that something has been said today that is a beautiful takeaway, so find your gem. Rest assured that there is an intimacy in the way that you seek as well as the way that you find. I feel the love of God right here in this holy moment. Feel love as a force in the universe that guides and directs and sustains all of life. I know that the infinite intelligence of the entire universe is woven into this one great, beautiful stream of life. And that intelligence is the very wisdom at the core of each individual person. Every living being has that same wisdom, that urge to follow the sun, that desire to experience relationships with each other. For something within us knows something wise and glorious and brilliant about the way that we are so miraculously made. Something within us knows. And so I feel the love of God within me. And I feel it being activated by the words of this prayer. For we know that prayer is a great igniting force. It is the very way that we water the seeds. It is the way that we set intentions. It is a way that we demonstrate our convictions. And therefore we feel enthused in that inner way. We feel that greater life ignited at the core of our being. And therefore there is something happening that is incredible. It is the movement of love, the greatest force in the universe. It is the movement of love within us. It is a healing and the revealing of the greater truths of our being. That there is a divine pattern. That there is a perfect order. that there is a way that the wisdom of our bodies knows how to heal what ails us. So we open. We open to receive these blessings. We open to become more aware of the movement of grace. For God's gift to us is that eternal givingness of grace. And so we allow ourselves to receive this good so that we might be expressions of God's love and God's grace and God's kindness and God's beauty everywhere we go. And that experience of being that vessel to receive these blessings, oh, it creates a force within us that ripples out beyond the walls of wherever it is that we're hearing these words from. A force for good that we have awakened within us, but that others resonate with as well. So I know that this spiritual community is greatly blessed. I know that as we gather in community playfully, that we see the humor of the divine expressing through us. I know that every way we are connected to each other gives us a deeper understanding of the way that all of us are woven into this divine tapestry of life. It is so good. I give thanks. I feel the gratitude shifting the molecules of my being so that God stuff can be evident. So I just say thank you, God. Thank you, life. Thank you, infinite spirit, for all of these ways in which we have been renewed and reawakened and aware yet again. Now we can do that good work in the world that we have been called to do and to help make the world a better place. So in this spirit of deep and heartfelt gratitude, I simply release the words of this prayer into that divine law that always says so sweetly, yes, my child, yes. We let it be, and together we say, and so it is.
Grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. Everywhere I look and every face I see is love reflected, shining back to me. I just give thanks for all these simple things, the joy and peace that gratitude brings. That's why I'm grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have.
Thank you, Bradfords, and thank you, Reverend Karen. That was an exquisite message. Thank you so much. So now it is time to celebrate the abundance and of our lives and our community. So we have drop boxes on the way to Papke Hall, one in the back of the room toward the exit, and also one near Holmes Base. You can also tithe or give your gifts online on our website, or you can automatically have them withdrawn from your checking account, or however you want to do it. There's many ways.
I write a check. I know
Yep.
I'm old-fashioned.
Yep.
but I still write
You can write a check. You can you can write a check and put them in one of the boxes back there. So yes, cash works too. Kind of an old concept, but we still use it.
Gold.
I am old. Oh, gold. Gold. I thought he was calling me old.
No, never.
So I also want to remind you that we have call to prayer up at, in front after service. So now let's say our joyful giving affirmation. I live in a consciousness of good. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And thank you, God, and so it is.
Please rise for our last song. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Sing that with me. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. I ain't thinking about my problems. I'm living now. I'm living now. And I ain't gonna worry about the future. I'm living now. I'm living now. So put your hands up if you feel like having a good time. Put your hands up if you're sharing love with all. Raise your cup if you're hopeful for tomorrow. Put your hands up if you're ready to have some fun. And sing it. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live. It feels so good to be alive. It feels so good to be alive. One more time. It feels so good to be alive. Woo.
Could I have the mic? Thank you. So I'm going to have a closing affirmation that I'm making up right now. There is a power within me. I feel it. I sense it. I know it. And I embrace it. And so it is. Amen.